righty. Rachel, I think we're done. So we can move on to your
Awesome. I'm super excited to jump into the housing market update.
get you.
Rachel's got the number. Who's selling? What's hot on the block? Get update.
And Phil, it's very blurry on my side, so I'm not sure if it's my internet or if it's just loading.
It's just the way I have it on the back end. It looks crystal clear on the live.
Okay, perfect. Good. I wanted to make sure it wasn't my internet. So awesome. Well, welcome back to Hardin Local. I'm Rachel Brantingham, and every week we look at what's happening in the Hardin County housing market, but more importantly, what those numbers are actually telling us and what they mean for you. And this week, I want to talk about something that goes much deeper than price, value, because buyers are still buying. In fact, we saw a significant increase in homes going under contract this week, and we've also watched several higher priced properties move recently. But today's buyer is paying close attention. They're not simply asking, do I like this house? They're asking, is this a good investment? And they're two very different questions, okay? So I want to jump into this week's numbers, keeping in mind that this information is all pulled from the Heart of Kentucky Association of Realtors, MLS. For this week, that is today through Tuesday of last week, we had 40 new listings come to the market, 28 homes go under contract, 11 homes closed, so 11 families moved into their new homes. We currently have 408 active listings with 104 homes sold during the last 30 days. Average days on market is about 81 days. The average list price is $352,052, while the average sold price is $309,670. And our median sold price across Hardin County is $296,700. Based on our current sales pace, Hardin County is sitting at approximately 3.9 months of inventory. That's a very balanced overall market. But here's where things get interesting. So here's our slide. It kind of breaks all that down for you. Of course, I'm always going to just push you back to Hardin Local. We have an incredible housing database that shows you all of these stats. They're always at your fingertips if you missed them during this podcast. Last week, only 15 homes went under contract. This week, 28 homes. That's an 80% week over week increase in new contracts. You know how we've been talking about how the market slowed down over July 4th, and if we were going to see this surge of sales that kind of occurred right here before school starts, well, it happened exactly as I hoped it would. 28 homes went pending. Now, I'm always cautious against making sweeping conclusion from 1 week's numbers. Real estate naturally moves in cycles, and back to school absolutely affects consumer behavior. But combined with what we're experiencing in the field, it's very encouraging. Buyer activity remains incredibly steady. We've recently watched several higher priced homes find buyers as well. We're not experiencing a market where buyers will purchase just anything, though. We're experiencing a market where buyers will move when they recognize value, and that's a very important distinction. Inside this market that you're staring at, there are actually several micro markets, okay? And I want to break those down kind of quickly for you. 50,000. Keeping in mind that the median sale price in Hardin County across the county is $296,750. So well below that median sale price, $250,000. We have 90 active homes and 33 sales during the last 30 days. That's approximately 2.7 months of inventory. This makes it a seller's market, okay? So if you're a seller that is looking to sell in that price point, you're probably going to experience multiple offers if you have your property prepped and priced appropriately. You're a buyer entering that market, make sure that you're ready to go, that you've got your pre-approval in order, and then if it's the right home, you are ready to move. Between 250 and 400,000, we have 203 active listings and 56 sales. That's approximately 3.6 months of inventory. Once again, we're kind of edging towards, we're really in a balanced market, but we're edging towards a buyer's market there in that price category. And we're also seeing a bulk of the inventory. Keep in mind, 203 active listings in that price point. A lot of homes in that 250 to 400. which kind of also goes back to like the affordable housing conversation. There's some work going on at Frankfurt to try to review this issue and concern that our communities are having. But obviously, with the majority of the homes moving into that 250 to 400 bracket, that is where properties have increased in value towards. And so we're really seeing a gap in what's available under that 250 mark. Between 4 and 600,000, we have 85 active listings and only 12 sales. That is a very buyer-friendly market price point currently, okay? Between 6 and 800,000, we have 19 active listings with 5 sales, putting us back towards that 3.8 months of inventory. But time on market is a little higher on that one. That's about 115 days on market. Luxury, anything over 800,000, we currently have 12 active listings and 1 sale during the last 30 days. That's approximately 12 months of inventory. And with 1 sale, I'd really caution against reading too much into that number. Luxury is a smaller market, so 1 or 2 transactions can dramatically change the absorption rate from week to week. You really want to, if you're looking to purchase in that price point or if you're looking to sell, you really want to find yourself an agent who understands luxury and how to present it, how to sell it, how to market it, because it is its own little market piece. It's really, really hard to evaluate based on what the rest of the price points are moving at. So what I really want consumers to understand right now, okay, so there is a difference between value when it comes to quality and pricing, okay? So oftentimes I see buyers focus on what they can see, which is beautiful staging, fresh paint, great furniture, perfect landscaping. Those things obviously matter tremendously. They create emotional and visual value, and presentation absolutely impacts how buyers respond to a property. But if you're making what may be the largest investment of your life, I really encourage you to look beyond the paint colors, okay? How was the home constructed? What's the quality of the materials and workmanship? What major systems will need attention in the coming years? Where is the property located and what's happening around it? Will it increase in value, or is what's coming nearby going to decrease its value? And perhaps most importantly, how is this location positioned to perform over the next 10 to 15 years? A beautifully staged home can make you fall in love and kind of forget the rest of the story, and making sure that you're actually making a good investment. But a good real estate decisions require us to look beyond what photographs well. The goal isn't simply to buy a beautiful home. The goal is to buy a good asset. That's where a knowledgeable representation matters. There have been so many times where the paint and staging captured my buyer's attention. And obviously, in no way did I want to deter them from their decision, but I also was able to inform them of things that existed beyond that paint to ensure that as they matured in this home and as the years passed, that property would grow in value. And so having good representation that understands how homes are built and what lies beyond the paint color is really, really important. Sellers are spending an incredible amount of time preparing their properties before putting them on the market. We had a burst of listings. I think people have gotten through that back to school, and now we're starting to see people preparing, because you have about a key window here over the next 60 days to get your home on the market and marketed properly before we head into the holiday season. Once you get into the holidays and then into winter, the market slows down dramatically. So condition is incredibly important. If you are considering selling this before the end of 2026 or in the spring of 2027, go ahead and start evaluating your property. Invite a real estate agent over to give you some good input as far as what are the things that are actually going to move the needle and going to create value, and you're going to actually be able to get that value back out when you go to sell, versus making changes that are just going to cost you and probably get torn out by the next buyer. Quick word on rates, guys, and then I'm going to wrap up. Rates this week are approximately 6.75 conventional and 6.25 for FHA, VA, USDA financing. Of course, that is all dependent on your credit. There is some continued discussion around the possibility of a softer rate environment in the months ahead. Obviously, none of us have a crystal ball, but I'm hearing it from multiple professionals in the industry that it sounds like we will start to see those rates drop. Now, here's the play that I would recommend. When rates drop, house prices go up. So my recommendation is to capture the market today, get a really good deal that has a lot of value built into it, and then refinance in the future. All right, guys. Well,